Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here, checking in on this April 3rd, 2020, 7:03 p.m. a West Coast time out here. You can see a signature of an earthquake showing up on a couple different seismograph stations here that I have pulled up right there in Mammoth Lakes right there, and also a couple other stations there in Southern California. This is coming off of a 4.9 magnitude earthquake in Southern California that just struck a few minutes ago here, followed up by many aftershocks already. The 4.9 earthquake being the largest quake in the sequence so far. Taking a look at the USGS map here, we can go ahead and zoom in to this area of topic here real quick, and I'll show you exactly which fault system this struck on here and the closest cities that these earthquakes have took place on. Just to the southwest region of the mountains there. What is it? San Jacinto Mountains there. You can zoom in a little bit more. Cathedral City. Looks like Palm Desert, Palm Springs up to the north a little ways. I'm sure those folks felt it, no doubt. They're only just about 15 miles or so north of the activity there. You can see the 4.9. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here. 4.9 striking at about 10 kilometers below the surface. No doubt quite a few folks felt it down there. Zooming in a little bit closer to look at the areas of fault systems here, and we can see that it's roughly within two fault systems here. One being the let's see which fault system this is here. Is that a silent J, San Jacinto fault zone? The Anza section. And we got over here the San Jacinto fault zone, the Anza section, and Black Ridge fault. So split faults here, but of the same name. Kind of interesting naming there with these systems. Yeah, so some pretty crazy activity going on there right now in Southern California. We haven't really seen too much in the way of activity down there recently, at least in this area. Let's see here. Just want to look here real quick. Just want to look up something real quick here, folks. Reading a little bit of information here on the San Jacinto. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Please, someone, you got to correct me there. Anyway, it is a major fault system in California, a strike slip fault zone that runs through San Bernardino, Riverside, San Diego, and Imperial counties in Southern California. It is a component of the larger San Andreas transform system that is considered to be the most seismically active fault zone in the area. Together, the San Andreas and the San Benito fault zone relieve the majority of the stress between the Pacific and the North American plates. Here it says the SJFZ, which is the San Benito fault zone, itself consists of many individual fault segments. That's kind of why you see it naming the same fault systems up here to the north and to the south. I wouldn't doubt if this one's... Yep. So all these are basically the bunch of segments of that fault system there. Let's see, the Anza seismic gap, which I believe... Buck Ridge fault. Yeah, it's saying here that a little bit of information here that the Anza section has not experienced any major activity since instrumental records have been kept. Each segment was evaluated for its seismic risk and was assigned a probability for the occurrence of large rupture. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Looks like while several of the large earthquakes along the SJFC have not resulted in significant property damage or loss of life, the cities of San Benito were both heavily damaged in two significant events, 1899 and 1918. The reoccurrence interval for a series of large earthquakes starting in 1899, including the 5.9, was 8, 5, 14, 5, 12, 14, 19 years. There has not been a strong earthquake for 32 years since the 1987 Superstition Hills and Elmore Ranch sequence. So let's see. Looks like on 1899, the magnitude 6.6 struck within this region. Destroyed San Benito and Hemet. Let's see here. And also roughly April 9th, 1968, a magnitude 6.4 struck down there as well. Superstition Hills, 1987. Let's see here. Just looking at a couple different earthquakes there. So this area, no doubt, being along the plate boundary, right, is no doubt a potential for some large earthquakes out there. This not being a large earthquake, 4.9 so far. But, you know, we always like to say there, these are some interesting times that we're getting into right now with all the earthquake activity going on in Idaho and all over the place here. Now Southern California getting in on some of the action here. So historical seismic activity, I'll show you guys that real quick and zoom in here on this specific map. And, you know, Southern California, no doubt, earthquake central, right? Quite a bit of earthquake activity throughout history. It being along the major plate boundary there of the Pacific and the North American plate. And as I mentioned there, it's a major stress reliever in the area. All those white circles indicating historical earthquakes throughout history there, and there's no doubt that star being right centered in the mix there of historical earthquakes. So nothing out of place, but there is you know, potential for some larger earthquakes out here. Just something to be prepared for. And I think it's a good thing these days, that's for sure. Anyway, so let's jump off here real quick and check this. Let's see here, seismograph station here. Yeah, wow. Okay, so yeah, that's the 4.9 showing up there on Mammoth Lakes, which is north of this area. The closest station that did pick it up was a station in Southern California. Let's see if I can get it. It looks like Yellowstone maybe even picked up a tad bit there. You can see a little disturbance right there in the data coming in. That's a good chance that that's a 4.9. Station there in San Diego picked it up really nicely. Really strong spike. Basically flatlining the area. Mendocino, California in the north also picked it up. You notice how these are a lot later than the main shake. That's due to distance and travel the P waves make through the ground. Here's Idaho even. It looks like maybe Idaho picked it up as well. A little disturbance right there in the data. Pretty interesting there. So let's see if these guys upgrade this earthquake or not from the current 4.9 that they have. I wouldn't doubt it. But anyway, folks, interesting earthquake activity taking place on the West Coast right now. 4.9. Out there, see exact coordinates where this is at here. We know it's Southern California, obviously, but they got it set at about 17 kilometers, which is 11 miles east-southeast of Anza, California. Palm Springs, or Palm Desert, sits about 17 miles south-southwest. Or sits northeast, I'm sorry. And once again, depth at about 6.6 miles for this 4.9 that struck in Southern California just moments ago. So stay safe out there, folks. We'll probably be off here for a little bit, and I have a feeling it's just going to be a little bit busy night here. So we'll catch you guys a little bit later.